This video is proudly brought to you by Top Star Wars trading app. With new cards released every day, you can trade with literally thousands of Star Wars fans all over the world and engage with the amazing Star Wars community in their fan feed directly. And there's new features like the Smuggler's Den. We can trade up to better and more rare cards. A link to the game, which is free to download, is linked in the description below.
Is this a drill or something?
What will you do if they break you?
The internet has been buzzing with rumors of which existing characters could make an appearance in Star Wars' upcoming installment, Rogue One. However, it is safe to say, despite some very abstract clues,
I'm a sad mercenary who worked for Saw Gerrera.
we were all absolutely blindsided when we saw Saw Gerrera out of Star Wars The Clone Wars, an original animated character which transitioned to live-action film Rogue One. So with that being said, I've actually made a list of 5 other characters I would like to see at least make a cameo in Rogue One in my own perfect world, and I hope that if you have your own, please let me know in the comments below. Lux Bonteri, and you probably saw this coming, he was a senator and rebel fighter from Onderon, much like Saw, during the Clone Wars. Now, he's in Liege with Saw and would be a perfect accompaniment to the newly formed rebel crew in Rogue One. I mean, it makes so much sense. He would be older, more disenchanted, and battle-weary. He could even serve as the voice of reason versus Saw's brash and more extreme methods if the Empire hasn't already eliminated him. Now, the last time we saw Bonteri after the incident on Onderon, his faith was placed in the Jedi and the Republic and was appointed Senator of Onderon. Unfortunately, the Republic's fallen, the Jedi fallen, though he swore to serve the Republic, which makes him a perfect candidate to be rebelling against the Empire at large. But if he's perished or died and Saw mentions him at the very least in Rogue One, that would make me understand why he's gone even more extreme in this film, because, Onderon was so pivotal in the Clone Wars during the arc, so that would make perfect sense.
Here we go.
Cad Bane was not only the top bounty hunter in the Clone Wars period after Jango Fett's untimely death. There's a surprisingly little known fact about Cad Bane. He was originally designed from unused concept art of a bounty hunter developed for Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope. So if that's not a throwback where he comes to fruition in live action, I don't know what is. So in a way, putting him in Rogue One would be the ultimate justice for his character. He's perfect for practical effects, and using his voiceover would also make sense. Now, outside of this, Cad Bane's appearance in Rogue One is one of the most persistent, unconfirmed rumors right next to Grand Admiral Tarkin. As one of the most iconic, memorable, and I guess all-round enjoyable bounty hunters to ever exist, Cad Bane would easily fit into the Rogue One aesthetic and be deadly for the Rebels. I mean, he could stand up to Obi-Wan and Quinlan Vos together. That means, non-Force sensitives, if Vader's sending bounty hunters to hunt them down, they would be in a lot of trouble.
Good heart.
Embo. With the inclusion of bounty hunters, of course, one thinks of Boba Fett and his crew from The Empire Strikes Back, but let's not forget it was the Clone Wars who added memorable characters such as Cad Bane and, of course, Embo. Embo being an incredible fighter with unique arsenal, including bowcaster and that hat/shield/snowboard/Captain America throwing weapon. I mean, it's super versatile. Now, why would you believe that Embo is such a good choice? Well, the first is that Dave Filoni voices him, and what better nod to his fandom than have him voice a live-action character? The other reason is that he wouldn't speak much due to him only speaking in his native language, being the perfect background character. Unfortunately, his dog won't make the cut due to its age. Thank you, Dave Filoni.
It's not out of the realm of possibility. I would probably lean a little bit more Embo, because I like Embo and he's got the dog. But then the writers tell me his dog would be dead. And I'm like, why would you say just a terrible thing about his dog? I'm like, it's an alien dog. Maybe it lives for a long time. You don't know.
Okay, so technically we saw Quinlan Vos in Star Wars Episode 1 The Phantom Menace for a good second in a blink and you'll miss it scene on Tatooine. However, we really started to have his character fleshed out in the Clone Wars, and I think he was always a rebel at heart. I mean, he had trouble with rules, was an excellent tracker due to his psychometry abilities or psychometry, however you pronounce it, and generally was an incredibly complex character. After the events of Dark Disciple, he's only mentioned in name in Revenge of the Sith, leaving his future very much in question and his fate unknown. So what better way to bring him back? I don't think he should be left dead. I mean, he's kind of like a bounty hunter mercenary for a while during Dark Disciple. He's disillusioned. The Jedi become extinct, and in canon, he's not dead. His whereabouts are unknown. I think that Quinlan Vos using the dark side could either fall or, because he had that brush, or he could be an invaluable member of the Rebel Alliance. I love it. Honorable mentions. Although by no means an original live-action character, what is a Death Star without Grand Admiral Tarkin at its helm? Now, there is a question of respecting Peter Cushing's legacy, and he was a phenomenal actor. However, I've said many times before, if we only saw Tarkin as a hologram, Steven Stan's performance is one that could truly do him justice without bringing him into live action or making anything that the fans would be like, this doesn't make sense. But you cannot absolutely have a Death Star and no Tarkin. There's just no question. Another honorable mention goes to Commander Cody. Now, Commander Cody was a popular clone in the Grand Army of the Republic, not only in the animated series, but also live action previously. However, we've only seen defector clones recently in Star Wars Rebels, free of their implants that made other clones carry out Order 66. And as far as we know, Commander Cody did. Now, last time we actually saw him, he had betrayed Obi-Wan Kenobi during Order 66. This is why I believe he may have served directly under Lord Vader afterwards and is the perfect in for his rise in the ranks of the Imperials. Now, what would be a twist of bitter irony though, is if he, due to his old age, was enhanced and became a Dark Trooper, which were older clones and they were experimented on, which due to the nature of enhancements was a discontinued practice due to a high suicide rate. They changed out parts of their bodies and they couldn't take it. Imagine that happening to Cody because of what happened. I mean, Order 66 wasn't his fault because he still had the implant in, but that would be just brutal seeing him again. I know that sounds morbid, but Cody's karma of staying true to the Empire, or even the sad fact he was manipulated to do so, would give his character a lot of relatable grounding, and I just really want to see him back. I've always wondered what would happen to him and the older clones, and this is the perfect platform, especially with Tamura Morrison, who played him originally, and Jango Fett. It is his age, he would be perfect for Rogue One as well.
Ahsoka, why did you leave?
Ahsoka Tano is arguably Star Wars' greatest success for an original animated character ever as a Jedi who's been trained by Anakin Skywalker. Who better to face him in the war?
Are you proud of me, Master?
And though she has already faced him in Star Wars Rebels and she kind of won, it is clear that as long as she draws breath, she will fight the Empire. So she's already injured Anakin, so one can assume that she would be the best bet to face him in combat, or even maybe nearly fatally injure him, as the rumor is he's been hurt by Rebels before being healed in Bacta in Rogue One. So somebody's got to have done it. Ahsoka is probably highest on the list of people capable of actually injuring him, but regardless, due to her relationship with Anakin and the fledgling rebellion, Rogue One would not make sense without Ahsoka if she is still alive during the timeline, which sadly leads me to believe if she's not in Rogue One, then she's perished at Vader's hands or during, the uprising pre-Rogue One in Rebels. But like I said, if there is a Rogue One and she is alive, she no doubt has to be there in some way, shape or form. And again, because she's an alien character, this will make portraying her with somebody live action so much easier. But the beauty of this video is it is just the start of the discussion. Our love for Star Wars, it does surround and it binds us together. So let me know in the comments below, who would you like to see from the Clone Wars? No, scratch that. Star Wars Rebels be in Rogue One live action, and maybe we might get a video out of it, because if you love Star Wars, I want to talk to you about it. It's as simple as that. If you want to stay up to date with the latest Star Wars videos on origins, games, and theories, don't forget to use those force powers of yours and hit subscribe. And hey, leave a comment below about what you want to see in future videos. It may just get covered. Thanks for watching, and may the force be with you. Always.